You guys inspired me. This discussion on Erev Yom Kippur reminded me of the Mishnah in Tainus.
Yes,
That exactly. Tzvi chapter immediately. Lo yom tam liso yom Kippur v'shivasar b'av tu b'av shebo b'nos shel cholos b'kram. They used to dance. It was a big shidduch day.
I used to point out it's a very happy day.
It is a happy day. No, we should not feel guilty about what we're doing now. People just, another point that occurred to me, people just grab onto the chitzonius of things. When we should have been like, berad upachad was Rosh Hashanah. That's Yom Adin. Just, as it's a Yom Din berachamim, meaning primis it's din, right? But bechitzonius, it's a Yom Tov, right? But people just hop onto the chitzonius. Yom Kippur is Yom Rachamim bedin. It's Betzim Rachamim. Rav Moshe told us in Shir that he's Makabo from Zikni Yerushalayim, Betzor Itzel Blazer, the time of Yisrael Slanter, Besof Yom of went to Yerushalayim, that on Rosh Hashanah, he was like all bent over, like B'moira of the Fachad. Right? And the Gemara Taka says that on Rosh Hashanah, it's a mitzvah and a shofar kafuf, right? A bent shofar because of dinin, right? And on Adavka Yom Kippur, it's a mitzvah b'pashut. And then Ritzel Blazer on Yom Kippur was mamash b'spashtus, great mood, like, was, But we were just, hopping on to the chitzonius. So, b'chitzonius, Rosh Hashanah is a festive day. And b'chitzonius, it's a, Yom Kippur is a solemn day. But we should be ochos in the pnimius. The mamash, it's the happiest day. Second, it is a tie with Tu B'Av. But I want to ask a kasha. What happened to Purim? Why isn't Purim not in the Mishnah? Right, you would think Purim is the happiest day. Right, that's Ershton's. It's Tzveitins. Everyone knows the famous Tikkunei Zohar that Yom Kippurim is a Yom Kippurim. It's like Purim, but not exactly. I want to discuss that also. Right? Okay, so I was with Kreplach, obviously. That's fine. Right, but I did get to that. But I want to be more something that these 2 days, Purim and Yom Kippur, are reciprocals. Because the hachana for Yom Kippur, midorais already, is to fast. Is just to eat before the fast. In Purim, it's fakir. It's fast before you eat. That the actual day is the day of Yom Mishtev Simcha. But we have Tanis Esther. It's interesting. They're inverses of each other. The hachana for one is eating for the fast. The other is fasting for the eating. And we're going to get into that and discuss it. But I first want to just say a biur in the Mishnah, right? In Tainus and Marsh, to get into what we were talking about over here at the table. That Marsh brings it out so well. Like, what's the shot? So it's a happy day, right? So because they make shidduchim. So I heard from my Rebbe, Moshe Shapiro. He made an interesting observation. In Gantz Maisa Bereshis, V'Elokim Kitov. All right, on Yom Sheni, nothing. Right, because we know, right? Because he might create machlokes, but just says nothing. There is one place in Maisa Bereshis that says mamish lotov. Exactly. Right? It's machav into the whole thing. There's a mamash lotov. Ze lotov eyos adam levado. It's an amazing thing, right? It's the first time in the Torah, and the first time it's like Ribosh is magdir. It's Ribosh himself talking. Lotov eyos adam levado. Means mashva, it's even worse than Yom Sheni. Yom Sheni is the stomach. It didn't say V'Elokim Kitov. Right? So he told me that at the time, because at the time I was an ultra bacher. Lotov, זה לא טוב. זה מקום, זה לא טוב, אתה בחור, זה לא טוב, זה המקום היחיד שכתוב בתורה, כן, לא טוב, זה לא טוב יוסר המלבד. Right? No, so now the question about what's the amkus of it, right? Because the pshat is like this. What causes to be alone, lonely, levad, as opposed to biyachad, right? What's the mavdil? The mavdil is the koach of ra. That's the effect that evil has on reality, is that it causes fragmentation. Right? Because the ra, that when it infiltrates reality, so it comes between the chelkei atov And if you don't for Tishkach, anything you call bad is a form of fragmentation. It's a form of breakdown. Death is a breakdown of life. Sickness is a breakdown of health, right? And poverty also. Your stuff just falls apart. Even though matter could be neither created nor destroyed, but the resources scatter, right? And that's the koach of Ra, when Ra infiltrates reality, right? So now, on Yom Kippur and on Tu B'Av, right, when we defeat the Ra, Ha-Satan, Gematria is 364, but 365 days a year, because there's no sun on Yom Kippur, right? So it's a day of Achdus, because the Ra is what's called pure. That's why Anu Matirim Lispalim Ma'avaryonim, right? And on Tu B'Av also, there was a Hisurus, that they saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us even within the Ra, and they were attacking the brach of Hatov HaMeitiv in Beit, on Haruge Beitar, which is the brach we're going to make in Olam Haba. Gemara says in Olam Hazeh we make Adon Emes, and Olam Haba we're going to make Hatov HaMeitiv. It's only good and gets better, right? That so these 2 days of Yom Kippur and Tu B'Av, right, are keneged that we get above the Ra. The Ra is what causes Pirud. And that's why on this day, right, they made Shidduchim, because what causes it comes in like, you just guys described, some of the symptoms. But it's all bad stuff that comes between Ish v'Isha coming together. And that's what the Gemara says in Yevamos, Hashori below Isha, Shori below Tova, below Torah, below Bracha. That the period between man and wife is connected the cosmic problem. It's mamash connected the cosmic problem. And when we defeat on these days, we're nis'ala above the cosmic problem. So connected to be in sync. They say they made shidduchim, right? But the question is now, to understand the Hevdela Mahuti between Yom Kippur and Tu B'Av on the one hand, and Slicha Mechilas, as Gemara says, why it's Slicha Mechilas. It's a time of rejoicing. We have to go into Yom Kippur b'simcha. We have to cry over our sins, but b'simcha from the Etzem Hayoim. We should have been sittering on Rosh Hashanah, right? But the Hevdela Mahuti, right, between Yom Kippur and Yom Kippur, which in Yom Kippur I'm calling that Yom Kippur and Tu B'Av, versus Purim. To understand why Purim is not in the Mishnah, right? So I'll pee the Goyin. So the Goyin, in his Ksavim says that that which the Tikkun HaZor said it's Yom Kippurim. It's a lostam that there's something. There's an episode common denominator. They're 2 halves of the same day. Right. Well, because we've got Luchas Shnius and there's Hadar Kiblua, and right. Yeah, but so the Gaon says even more that they're be'etzim 2 halves of the same day. Besor chetzio la'Hashem v'chetzio lachem. Because it's a din Yom Tov Chalkeo chetzio la'Hashem chetzio lachem. Yom Kippur seemingly is kulo la'Hashem, right? And Purim is seemingly kulo lachem, right? So says the Gaon, they're 2 halves of the same day. Besor chetzio la'Hashem chetzio lachem. So Yom Kippur is the chetzio la'Hashem, and Purim is mamash. It's twin. Besor the chetzio lachem, right? All right. So the word is like this. So I'll explain the common denominator and explain what's different, and then we can understand why they're inverses of each other. Common denominator is, like we said before, to defeat evil. But on Yom Kippur, who defeats the evil? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We just declared Yom Kippur, but it's mitzad isruta de la'ela that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells the sun, get lost, you don't have koach on this day. The kochos of Yom Kippur that I darshaned on tonight in my shir in Long Beach, and I'll send out that shir soon. That's all mitzido yisbarach. We just declare it that Rosh Chodesh Tishrei, but then HaKadosh Baruch Hu misruta de la'ela gives the special keiches of Yom Kippur that there's no Ra Sholet, and that's why it's chetzio la'Hashem, because he's the hero. He does it, right? And when he does it, there's taka no yetzahara b'mitzias b'chlal. Right? It's a day kulo of ha'aras panim with no hester panim. And that's why we say Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuso out loud, kayadua. Purim is mamash. We did it. But now we don't have the koch to say to the Ra, you're gone. Abracadabra, you're gone. But we have the koch to see him. There's just a big boogie man. He doesn't have mahus. We can't be mavaton from mitzias. We could just be very, very stark in our emuna that he's not real. right? And that somehow he is L'toiv, but he's there, right? So on Yom Kippur, Chazal tells us there's no Yetzirah. Hasan, only 364 days. We don't have a Chazal that there's no Yetzirah on Purim. But we do know that that's the Inyan of Purim, that we see that even the Raz L'tov Besod Ad Delo Yoda Ben Or Hamel Baruch Mordechai, that somehow Lamala from our Das, instead even the Raz L'tov, and that's the whole thing. Yom Kippur is a day of Ha'oras Panim, Kloros Panim. But what's Purim? Esther Minator Minayin Vanochi Hasta Aster Ponai. Fakir, the midah called Hester Panim, from which the Ra has the illusion of its mitzias, the midah of Hester Panim is Sholit on Purim. It's Sholit. What we did is, we can't do abracadabra and will it out of existence, but we steig on this day to see that it's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. And even it serves the Tov. Right? So on this day, we eat and we drink, which are all pulas that come from the Hester Panim. It's the day of Guf. That's a bria that comes from Hester Panim. But with the Emunah, that it also serves HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the Ra is not bottled from Mitzias, but we understand that it has no koach, but it's still been Mitzias. And that's why on Purim we still say Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuso quietly. Because the Ra is not bottled from Mitzias, just we see through it. It's like you see the boogeyman, you see through him. So the Hester Panim there still is, right? Just we understand that it's not real. Whereas Lumas, and that's the maximum Adam can do. And it's Besor Chetzio Lochem. This is the our Avodah. What we could do is we can't will the Ra out of existence, but we could be stark with the Emunah that it's not real, and only the Tov is real. Whereas on Yom Kippur, the Ra is not the Mitzias. Right? So that's why sort of Simcha Burim and Pashitzi say, if he had the koch, he'd be mevat all the Tanes, except Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur. Because Tisha B'Av, how can you eat? Yom Kippur, you don't need to eat. Right? Because it's the day of Ha'aras Panim. The Guf is not Sholei. It's a day of Ruchnias. No, Purim is a day of Gashmias. Just we see that the Gashmias is not anti-HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's there to serve him. So that's Yom Kippur's Chetzio LaHashem, and it's a day of Ha'aras Panim. Purim is Chetzio Lachem, and it's a day where the Hester Panim is, Vanochi, Esther Matominai, Vanochi Hasta Esther Panai. There's an Oror Haman, but we just see that it's all the Toiv also. So that's why, we don't make Shidduchim on Purim. And we still say Baruch Shem, because the Hester Panim is there, just we see through it. We see through the Hester Panim. Right? And now you can understand the inverses of these Chagim. So that's why Purim is always Hecher, that the Yetzirah could be Matsui, could exist, right? But we see through him. And one could argue that's a higher Madrega, that the Ra could be seemingly Matsui, and just you are Mevatel, it's Mitzias, in your own mind and heart, that's bigger than if Rosh Hashanah takes it away. Right? So now you understand, so since the Hester Panim is still new, that's why it's not a Shidduch day, and that's why it's not in the klal of that Mishnah. That it's not a Yom Tov because the Yom Tov Purim is Kulo Mitzidenu, right? Whereas what happened on Yom Kippur, what happened on Yom Kippur, what happened on Tu B'Av were all Nisim Milamala, right? That it's a pool of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? Nisim that he did, things that we now he made these things happen, right? Okay, so now right. So Pshat is like this. Right, so on Yom Kippur, the Achana for Yom Kippur is eating, because we want to schlep our reality up. Yom Kippur is God's reality, Erev Yom Kippur is our reality, and we want to merge the universes. And this the Radziner says. So we eat a lot on Erev Yom Kippur to bring Gashmias to Ruchnias, right? To bring Gashmias to Ruchnias, and the more you eat, the more that gets elevated, right? Right? But on Purim, it's fakir. We're going into Gashmias with the Emunah that Gashmias serves HaKadosh Baruch Hu just as much as Ruchnias. But you're going to only be fooling yourself. They say, I believe Gashmias is all the Taiv. You're going to be fooling yourself if Gashmias controls you as opposed to you controlling Gashmias. Right? And that's why the Achon is fasting. You get a grip. You be mizgaber over the guf and be mizgaber, and then you could be real, and you're not full of baloney. Right? When you say on Purim, it's all l'shem shamayim, and it's all for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the fasting is the hachana for Purim, that you have to first get a grip that you're saying it mitzad, not that you're not as mora heter, that the Eitzar is controlling you, but rather you're in control because you're already mizgaber over the guf, and now you could go into the guf, into gufnius, and say it's all a shem shamayim. So that's why the achana for Purim is fasting, right? But the achana for Yom Kippur is eating, because it's the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is cleaning up the world, right? And elevating things. So we want to bring in as much into Yom Kippur as possible, because the more we bring in, the more HaKadosh Baruch Hu fixes it up and elevates it for us. So Yom Kippur, which is the day of elevation, come in eating, there's more to elevate. Yom Purim, which is a day of seeing Gashmias for what it really is, but first get a grip that you're being sincere and make sure you're in control, and you're saying it because you're in control of Gashmias, because Gashmias is controlling you, and that's why the achana for it is fasting. All right, Rosh Hashanah should all be Zochah Mamish, the Gemar Chasima Tova, a good Kaben Shor. We should enjoy many, many good years together, be it here, be it Yerushalayim, Yirah Kodesh with B.S. Gold Tzedek.
Amen.
Oh, it's interesting. You should have some of that. It's a shawarma kreplach. It's a kreple of shawarma. It's a mezainis. It's a mezainis.
It's easy to do this.